We've all been there, reaching for something sweet or mindlessly eating after a stressful day of work, or skipping meals and overeating later. If you've ever felt stuck in a cycle of unhealthy food habits, I get it. I have done the same things, but today I want to share 5 food habits that I quit and why you should too, and exactly how making these changes helped me feel better, have more energy, and finally break free from those bad food habits so you can too. Let's dive in. Before we start, I just want to say welcome to the BeSoGuud channel, where we're all about elevating ourselves to be our best, both inside and out. It's so good to have you here. Let's get into it. Bad food habit number 1 is eating sweets first thing in the morning or on an empty stomach. You know that moment where you reach for a pastry or sugary cereal or maybe even chocolate first thing in the morning after you've been sleeping and fasting, and maybe it feels delicious and great at first, but then it's followed by an energy crash. You're hungry really early after eating that. Maybe it only kept you full for a little bit of time, and then you just have low energy, maybe some mood swings, and you're just hungry. And listen, I get it. Being someone who is Argentinian, if you see the Argentinian diet, all that Argentinians eat first thing in the morning is usually either coffee or mate, which is like a tea. And then we have toast with either dulce de leche or with jam, or definitely media lunas or pastries. So the Argentinian diet is sugar and carbs the first thing in the morning. So I get it. That's what I grew up being around. But as I got older and I also became a trainer, I started to realize that eating sugar on an empty stomach was wreaking havoc on my energy levels. It was spiking my blood sugar. Maybe I'd feel energized for a few minutes to an hour, but it would quickly be followed by a crash and honestly just craving more sugar after. So what I encourage you to do, and what I also do myself now, is that first thing in the morning when I am gonna have breakfast, I want to make sure that there is a good balance of protein, carbs, and fats, as opposed to prioritizing just simple sugars and carbohydrates that are just not going to do the job that you need it to do. Foods like eggs, I love avocados, protein smoothies with a lot of antioxidants and proteins, again, even throwing some avocado in there. Anything that's just really well balanced to where you're getting a mix of all those 3 macronutrients is going to be really good for you. You're going to have much better sustained energy throughout the day. You're going to stay fuller longer because it's well balanced, and you're not going to feel immediately hungry after just having sugar, and it's so much better for your blood sugar levels, which again helps to reduce inflammation in your body, which inflammation is one of the big things that can cause so many problems for you in your health. So switching over to a balanced breakfast is going to do amazing things for you. Food habit number 2 that I quit is actually having coffee on an empty stomach. And listen, this is coming from someone that spent years intermittent fasting and had great results. But if you are someone, if you're a female, or you're someone that maybe struggles with PCOS, or maybe you're a male and you just have really high cortisol, which is the stress level, having caffeine on an empty stomach is also not what you want to be doing. So many of us start our day with a cup of joe, a cup of coffee. I personally always drink my coffee black, and then I opt for lattes maybe later in the day. But whatever your coffee is that you're reaching for first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and I'm not even going to start if you're having coffee on an empty stomach without even drinking water or electrolytes first, another huge mistake. But even though you think that having coffee first thing is going to be this huge energy boost, most likely it's actually going to cause an acid imbalance in your stomach and just make you feel jittery and anxious. I personally actually stopped having coffee on an empty stomach when I just randomly, out of nowhere, maybe it just comes with getting older, but I started getting really terrible acid reflux. And so as soon as that started happening, I told myself, okay, I'm going to have to start putting food into my system before I have coffee. And ever since I've done that, it's helped so much. So if you're someone that struggles with acid reflux, or you have PCOS, or you just have really high stress levels, try putting some well-balanced nutrients into your body before you start reaching for that first morning coffee. Bad food habit number 3 is skipping meals. If you're someone that thinks skipping meals is going to help you lose weight, it's not. It's only going to lead to overeating. As someone who has struggled with some type of binge eating in the past, and I now know that if I skip a meal, especially something like lunch or dinner, dinner, which I cannot even fathom doing. I love my meals. I look forward to food. I love feeling good and feeling satiated, and skipping meals, the few times that I've had to do it, because most likely, let's say you're busy or just something happens to where you didn't prioritize, or maybe you didn't meal prep or prepare, or you don't have access to food. Skipping meals is just honestly one of the worst things. For me personally, I know that if I skip a meal, I will 100% emotionally eat after. That feeling only comes to me when I skip my meals, or if I have meals that are not well balanced. So please don't skip your meals. It's not doing anything good for you. Bad habit number 4 is kind of tying into the last one, but it's mindlessly eating or just not listening to your hunger cues. How many times have you found yourself eating without actually paying attention to the fact that you're eating? This definitely happens if you're someone that tends to eat while you're watching the TV. There's that feeling of just holding on to a bag of chips, eating while you're watching. This would be the key point of mindlessly eating, because you're not even actually aware of what you're doing, and you're finishing this whole bag of chips without even noticing that you already got to the bottom of the bag. I used to do this, and I still have to catch myself from not doing this sometimes. Now, I've had many aha moments where I now try to catch myself and ask myself, am I eating because I'm hungry, or am I eating out of habit or out of boredom, or because I'm doing something and I'm not really paying attention? Now, if you're someone that really enjoys eating your snacks or just eating while you're watching entertainment or TV, and just eating at a dining room table where you can just focus on mindful eating isn't for you, or you want to have a balance, then one of the best things that I found is that if I just kind of portion control and pour, the amount of chips that I want to eat into a bowl instead of walking over to the TV with the whole entire bag, then most likely as soon as I get to the end of my bowl, I'm good, I'm satiated, I don't need any more. Whereas if I go over with the whole entire bag, 9 times out of 10, I will finish the whole entire bag, and then I almost always regret it. I don't feel guilty about it once I do it, because I try to have a good relationship with food. So just, if you are gonna do it and you know you're gonna be mindless, just go ahead and pour it out into a container before you take it over, and just try to focus on being really mindful, having some portion control, or if you really want to make a big difference, sit at the table, focus on your food, and really try to pay attention to your hunger cues and learn when you're actually hungry and when you're just craving something. Really try to learn to listen to your body, and don't just eat because the food is available. And last food habit that I quit is eating out too often. We actually eat about 80 to 90% of our food we cook ourselves, my fiance and I. This is actually interesting because he came from a background where his family would get takeout all the time. And when I say all the time, I mean all the time. Even now when we go up to visit his parents are always getting takeout. I came from a background where we never got takeout. My parents always cooked from home, and takeout was one of those things that I would kind of be excited about when I would stay with friends and their families would get takeout, but it's not something that I was accustomed to. So when my partner and I got together, it was funny to see how we establish our norm. Luckily, we both love cooking. I would say he even loves cooking more than I do. For him, it's kind of therapeutic and a stress relief, and he's definitely a little chef, and I can be too, but I definitely have to be more in the mood, and I'm more of like your smoothies and drink girly than just making these elaborate meals. I can personally eat the same thing over and over and over again until I'm sick of it, and I'm totally fine with that. Whereas he cannot even eat like a box of mac and cheese out of the box. He has to put sauteed onion and garlic and all these things, which I love that about him. But really, in our household, we try to eat all of our food 80 to 90% of the time, probably more leaning towards like 85, where we cook our own stuff. Also, where we live, it is so expensive to eat out. Even though everyone our age does it, we really try to limit ourselves, not only just from the point of saving money, but we genuinely enjoy the food that we cook. A lot of the times, even more than the food that we have out. So that definitely helps. I understand if you're someone watching this and you don't love cooking, it can be hard to get into, but definitely at least try, because when you eat out, you have no control over the ingredients. You have no idea what kind of oils they're using in the kitchen, or what kind of additives, or where they're getting their food from. And you can definitely overconsume, more calories and fats, sugars, and other things than if you probably made the same exact thing yourself. And most of the time it's going to taste really similar, or maybe you can even make it better because you can customize it to what you like. So the lesson here isn't that you never are gonna eat out again. That is not realistic. We also love eating out. It's like a little treat for us, but it's just not an everyday thing. We really try to prioritize our health so that we can know what's going into our bodies. We also save money, and cooking at home can be fun, especially once you start to realize how much better you feel. It's a lot easier to apply. And I just want to say that by no means am I perfect with my food. I am always trying to improve and also just find a balance that works for me, just like you need to find a balance that works for you. But ultimately, I truly believe that if you implement these food habits, or more so take away these unhealthy food habits, they are only going to positively impact your life. I would love to know, what are your food habits that were doing more harm than good that you decided to quit, or maybe what are some really good food habits that you started incorporating that you found really useful or easy to implement. Let me know what you struggle with, or if there's any recipes that you want me to do. I would love to know what you guys want to see more of. And as always, if you got any value from this video, please don't forget to give that subscribe button a sweet little tap. I am so grateful to have you here, and I hope to catch you in my next one.